Good evening, everyone. We're truly glad to have you back with us tonight. Working the night shift at a place like McDonald's might sound ordinary, but for the people in these stories, those late hours became a doorway to the unexplained. If you enjoy stories like these, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We upload daily horror tales. You're watching Sleep Horror Stories. My name is Alex. I'm 23 years old and I work the night shift at a McDonald's. I started working there because I needed steady income while finishing college. The overnight shift works best for my class schedule. But ever since what happened to me, I can't help but get nervous every time I clock in after dark. What I'm about to share is completely real. I try to come up with a logical explanation, believe me, but I still haven't found one. It all started about a year ago. I was working the drive-thru window, taking late-night orders like usual. It's quieter at night, so I'm usually in a good mood, trying to make the experience a bit nicer for the few customers we get. That night, a woman pulled up in an old, beat-up car. From the moment she spoke, something felt off. Not just because she looked disheveled, but because of how she talked to me. She complimented me, told me I had a nice voice, that I sounded kind. I didn't think much of it at the time, figured she was just one of those weird but harmless regulars. I smiled, handed her the food, and moved on. But then she came back. The same time, every night. And every time, her comments got weirder. She told me she liked my eyes, that there was something special about me. One night, she even asked if I wanted to go out with her. I was polite but distant. Eventually, my coworkers started to notice. She'd specifically asked for me if someone else was working the window. At first, they teased me about having a stalker, but the joke stopped once they saw how persistent she was. Some nights, my team would cover for me, so I wouldn't have to see her, but that only made things worse. One time, she parked right outside the drive-thru window, just staring as if waiting for me to come out. The worst part, she started showing up after my shift. The first time was a Friday night, around 3 a.m. I was walking out when I saw her leaning against her car, smoking. She smiled at me in a way that made my skin crawl. Then she offered me a ride home, said it wasn't safe to walk alone that late. I told her no, that I was fine, but she didn't leave until I got into a coworker's car. It kept happening, every night, more persistent. She'd offer me drinks, ask me to hang out, say things I don't even want to repeat. I tried to avoid her, but she wasn't giving up. One night, I was walking home when I realized she was following me. Just as I was unlocking my door, I felt someone tug on my backpack. It was her. She tried to hug me. Her eyes were wild. She whispered things that terrified me. I broke free, ran inside, locked the door, and called the cops. She stood outside yelling, crying, begging me to let her in. But when the police arrived, she had already vanished. The next day, I filed for a restraining order. And just like that, she stopped coming. Months passed. I finally felt like I could breathe again. But then, just a week ago, I was closing the store late and I saw her. She was standing next to my car. Even in the dark, I knew that silhouette, that same posture, that same stare. I froze. I called the police again, asking them to come quickly. When they showed up, she was gone. I described her to the officers, but what they said next still haunts me. "Are you sure?" one of them asked. "That woman died months ago." She was in a car crash just down the road. I stood there speechless. I told them I saw her just minutes ago. But they insisted I must have been mistaken. Mistaken? I knew her face, her voice, that disturbing stare. I'd seen her night after night. There's no way I was confused. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept replaying it all in my head. If she was dead, then who? Or what did I see? It felt just like when she was alive. As if she'd never really left. Like her obsession stayed behind. I've started wondering, maybe some emotions, obsessions, don't die with us. And if that's true, then I don't know if I was just another victim she couldn't let go of, or if it was all just a sick coincidence. Now that you've heard what happened to Alex, I want to ask you something. Do you think someone's presence can stick around after they're gone? Or do our minds play tricks on us when emotions run high? Let me know in the comments. Maybe then, Alex can finally make sense of what happened, if there's even an explanation at all. My name is Luis. I'm 22 years old, and I work at a McDonald's in my hometown here in the US. I'll be honest, it's not my dream job, but it's decent. Most of the time, it's just the usual stuff. Kids running around, last-minute changes to orders, the usual night shift chaos. But there's one night I can't stop thinking about. Something that happened months ago that still haunts me. It was one of those calm shifts that start dragging toward the end. It was already late, and I just wanted to go home. That night, I was assigned to clean the play place, where the slides, tunnels, and ball pits are. Normally, there aren't many kids around that late, since most families head out by then. But that evening, a woman showed up with 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. The oldest girl looked about 7, the boy maybe 5 or 6, and the youngest around 4. The mom sat at one of the tables while the kids ran into the play area, laughing and playing like any other night. I was cleaning near the entrance, watching them out of the corner of my eye. I liked hearing them laugh. It brought some life to the empty restaurant, but something caught my attention. Even though only the 3 kids were in there, the 2 girls seemed to be whispering to each other. The boy kept playing happily with the balls, but the older girl suddenly leaned in and whispered something to the younger one. Then things changed. The younger girl looked a bit scared, like her sister had just told her off. The older girl had this serious, almost angry look on her face, staring right at the ball pit, right at her brother. I stopped cleaning and watched. I don't know how to describe it, but something felt wrong. Like the air had turned heavy, like something just didn't fit. A few minutes passed, and the mom called her kids to get ready to leave. The boy and the youngest girl came running, but the older one didn't come out. She was still sitting in the ball pit. I walked over and said, "Hey, your mom's calling. Time to go." She looked at me, but didn't say a word. Just sat there between the balls, still as a statue. So I went back to the mom and told her, "Your oldest daughter's still in the ball pit. She won't come out." But the mom just blinked at me, confused. Then she said something that chilled me to my bones. I only brought 2 kids. I thought she was joking. I was sure she didn't hear me right. I said again, "Ma'am, your older daughter is still in the play area." She shook her head, clearly uncomfortable. "I only brought my 2 kids. There's no one else." I stood there stunned. I rushed back to the play zone, but the ball pit was empty. I checked everything, the slide, the tunnels, the corners. Nothing. It was like she'd never been there. I returned to the mom, still confused, and told her what happened. Then she asked me something strange. What did the girl look like? I told her, long dark hair, pale skin, gray dress, black shoes. She went quiet. Her face turned white, like she'd just seen a ghost. She asked me to repeat the description. I did. Then she told me something I'll never forget. That matches my daughter's imaginary friend. She calls her Luna. I didn't know what to say, but then she kept talking. Apparently, her daughter had been talking about Luna for months, saying they played together. The family didn't think much of it first. You know how kids are. But things got weirder. Her daughter said Luna told her to do bad things, like break stuff or be mean to her brother. And worse, she started saying things that didn't sound like a kid. Dark thoughts, violent language. The mom said they even took her to a psychologist, but the doctors didn't find anything wrong. Just said it was probably a phase. Still, the mom was convinced something wasn't right, especially now that I described the exact same girl her daughter always talked about. I tried to calm her down, told her maybe it was just coincidence. But deep down, I didn't believe that. What I saw didn't feel imaginary. The vibe, the way that girl stared, how she vanished without a trace. It was real, too real. Before leaving, the mom looked at me and said something that still echoes in my mind. If that was Luna, then she's not imaginary. Something dark is following my daughter. That line messed with my head. What did I see that night? A demon? A ghost? A hallucination? But if it was all in my head, why did her mom react that way? Why did my description match her daughter's imaginary friend down to the last detail? Since that night, I haven't been able to shake it off. I tell myself it was my imagination, just a misunderstanding. But every time I walk past the play place, I feel something, a weight in the air, like someone's still there, watching. And I can't forget the look on that mother's face. It wasn't just fear. It was as if something she tried to ignore had finally come to life. So what was that little girl? Why did she seem so real? Was it just a coincidence? Something paranormal? I don't know. But I'll ask you the same thing I keep asking myself. Can something dark really attach itself to a child pretending to be their friend? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd really like to hear your theories. Because honestly, I still can't explain what I saw that night.